My name is Jinal Jhala and I am your instructor of this subject. First of all, what is the meaning of array of structure? In array of structure, each element of an array is of the structure type. Means in previous video we have already done one example that store the data of only for one student, and in that video we have declared one structure variable as a S1. But in our classroom not only one student is present, right? It is possible that 50 students are available and you want to store the data of your 50 students, then you have to declare 50 different structure variable. Then your code become very complex. But just remember the concept of array. In array we can store multiple values. So here in a structure variable we can use array as our structure variable. Means when you want to store 50 student data, then we can store it in a single variable using array. So how we can declare? Just to see the syntax. First you have to write struct keyword, then after your structure name, and then after your array name. Means suppose for student I am taking S, and in bracket you have to define size, and this size means number of students. If you want to store 10 student data, then you have to mention the size in bracket 10. If you want to store 50 student data, then mention 50 as a size. And how we can write the program? So here I am writing 5 student data using array of structure. So first of all we have to define the structure, and same example I have taken here for student data. So first struct student, and here 3 members are available. Our first member is a roll number, then second is a student name, and third is a student address. Now write the main function, and we can declare our structure variable two ways, but here I am using second method. So first write the struct keyword, then after our structure name which is student, and here we have to use array of structure. So I am writing S5. Now what do you mean by S5? In this S variable we can store 5 student data. Means for 5 student we can store roll number, a name and address. So how we can enter the data? Here for 5 students we have to use Scanf function for 5 times, and print for printing the same data you have to print 5 times. So your code become very complex. So here we can use the concept of loop. Means we have to write Scanf function only once but using loop. Same way we can write the printf function in our loop, and the range of loop is for 5 times we have to execute. So here I am declaring one another variable, that is integer I. This variable is used for loop. Now I am writing for loop for I is equal to 0, I less than 5. Why 0? Because array index always starting from 0, that's why. So our first student data will be stored at S of 0 index. Then after our second student data store at 1 index. In this way whole data will store in our S variable. So I am writing one printf function that enter roll number, name and address of student %d and comma I plus 1. Now what do you mean by I plus 1? Initially our I value is 0. So 0 plus 1, that means 1. So first of all it will print enter roll number, name and address of student 1. So next function is our Scanf function, and here I am using only one Scanf function. You can use 3 Scanf function different, but for code optimization I am writing in a single Scanf function. So first member is a roll number. For roll number our control string is %d because it is in the form of integer. Then %s for name and second %s for address. Now how we can write the members? So here again we have to use dot operator because we want to access the members of structure which all are outside the main function, and our structure variable is s of phi. So here I am writing s of I dot roll number. Initially our I value is 0, that means it will take s of 0 dot roll number. Same way s of 0 dot name and s of 0 dot address. When our I become plus plus means I will be increment, our I value become 1. So our next record will be stored at s of 1 dot roll number, s of 1 dot name and s of 1 dot address. So in this way our loop will be execute 5 times. So our last index is s of 4 because it is starting from s of 0 and last record stored at s of 4 index. Now I want to print the same data which I have entered for 5 students. So again I am writing one printf function, that roll number, name and address, and here again I am using slash t is for tab because I want to print the data in like tabular form, that's why I am using slash t just for formatting. And again write one for loop because I want to print 5 student data which I have entered earlier. So again write the for loop, and in for loop printf function, that %d is for roll number, %s for name and %s for address, and our first member is s of I dot roll number, second is a s of I dot name, and third is s of I dot address. So what will be the output, just to see here. First of all, first printf will be execute that enter roll number, name and address of student 1. So I am enter roll number as a 10, student name as a Bhavya and address as a Ahmedabad. In this way we can store 5 student data here, but I am writing only for 1 student data here, and at last we will get the output like roll number, name and address, and roll number is 10, name is Bhavya and address is Ahmedabad. But when you will execute the same code, you can enter for 5 student and you can get in the printed form for 5 student data. Now if you want to enter for n student data, so just you have to change in your for loop that I is equal to 0 and I less than n, and one more variable you have to declare and scan here before the loop. And you can also increase the size of your array. Here I am writing S5, but if you want to store 50 student data, then just write S of 50. In this way we can use array of structure. Our next topic is nested structure. So already we are aware the word of nested, right? Nested means inside the statement. So here in nested structure we can write one structure inside the another structure. This is called as a nested structure. Already we have used nested if else concept, nested loop concept. So we already know that how we can write nested statement. So the advantage of nested structure is like one structure which we can use in many different structure that we have to define only once, and the same structure we can use multiple times in different structure. How? So suppose date of birth. For date of birth we have required 3 members, date, month and year, and suppose you want to store the data of whole college, then in college different members are available like students, then faculties, then admin staffs. So these all are have date of birth, date of joining. So when you write in all the different structure, your members will be increased, but if you define the structure of date in only once, then you can use it in 3 different structure very easy. So here I am writing one example. First I am writing one structure of date. So write the keyword that is struct, then after date, and then after our 3 members, integer dd means date, then integer means month, You can also use string for month and integer year and semicolon. Now I am defining one another structure, that is student. So struct and student. So here our main structure is student, but the date structure we can use inside the student structure. So first member of student is a roll number and second is a name. Now I want to use the date structure in my student structure, then how we can use it? So here as a member variable we can define our structure variable of date. How? So first of all write the keyword struct, then after our structure name is date, and for date we have to declare one structure variable. So I am declaring bdate. So bdate is a structure variable of our date which we have to declare inside our student structure. Suppose you have defined one another structure for employee, then in employee you can use the same structure of date by declaring one another structure variable inside the employee structure. Now next write the void main function, and here I am declaring structure variable of our main structure, that is student. So struct student s. S is a structure variable for student. Now I want to enter the values of roll number, name and birth date. So how we can enter? So first of all roll number and name are the member of our student structure. So we can directly access by s dot roll number and s dot name. So first I am writing one printf that enter roll number and name, and scanf function that first %d is for roll number, %s for name. So ampersand s dot roll number and comma s dot name. Now I want to enter birth date, but the date structure is different and the structure variable of date is bdate, but this structure variable declared inside our student structure. So first of all we can access it. First we have to use our student structure variable, that is s, then after dot operator, then after bdate. Bdate is a structure variable for our date structure, and then after our member 1, that is date. So here just to see that enter birth date. So 3%d I am writing here because date, month and year. For all I have used data type as a integer. So our first member we have to enter like ampersand s dot bdate, again dot dd, that is our member 1. Again for second month ampersand s dot bdate dot means month, and for year again ampersand s dot bdate dot yy, that is year. So directly we can't write bdate dot bdate dot yy. We have to use first s variable because we have declared inside this structure, that's why. And for printing same we can print first printf roll number is equal to %d, then name, and these two members we can directly access as dot roll number and as dot name because these two members are in student structure, that's why. And for birth date again you have to write s dot bdate dot dd, same way you can write for month and year. So what will be the output? Just to see here. First of all enter roll number, so I am entering 10. Then after name, so I am entering Bhavya, and enter birth date. So first I am enter 3, then after enter 7, and then after 2012. So 3 consider as a date, 7 consider as a month, and 2012 is our year. So our output is like roll number is equal to 10, name is equal to Bhavya, and birth date 3/7/2012. So in this way we can use nested structure concept. Hope guys you understand today's lecture very well. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you so much.